What's good, people? First and 23. Draft first round just happened. I just wanted to do a quick reaction to that and pretty much all the teams. I'm just gonna dive right into it. So let's get it. First overall pick to the Titans, Cam Ward. Ain't gotta say too much about that. We all knew that that was gonna happen. Pretty much by far the best, not by far, but clearly the best QB prospect in this class, in this draft, worthy of that pick. I would have did the same thing. Will Levis alone lost him at least one game last year. And, if you don't have that guy, you need to go try and chase it or get that guy, especially when you were sitting there at number one. It would have been idiotic to, maybe not idiotic, but it wouldn't have been the right thing to draft like a Travis Hunter or a Abdul Carter and just running back with Will Levis. That's why I kind of think at number 2 or 3, I had a lot of, like when doing mock drafts and shit, and stuff, pardon me, I was just like, why do we not pick Shedeur at 2 or 3? Even though obviously the league didn't view him as a first rounder. I did, at least. I watched him, and yeah, I didn't think he was a top 3, top 5, or even top 10 pick necessarily, but I thought he was a first rounder. The pre-snap and like that type of stuff was a little overblown a little bit, but in terms of just being accurate, a gamer, doing more with less, he did not have a good line. And people act like they've been doing this a lot lately. Like they did this with Stroud, like he's a pocket guy. Like Stroud can move. He just decides to beat you from the pocket. And if he can do that, that's how you're supposed to play quarterback, from the pocket and destroy people. That doesn't mean when a play breaks down that he can't escape. And yeah, he's not a Mahomes or an Allen or a Lamar, or even Mahomes isn't the biggest. People always confuse that. Like Mahomes isn't the biggest runner or scrambler either. He does a lot of his shit from the pocket, but he can do all that stuff. And Stroud isn't as good as it as Mahomes, but he's not that far off. Like he's closer to Mahomes than a Jared Goff, which was his comp. But anyway, Shador is more mobile than people give him credit for. Like he still is an athlete. He is Deion's son. He's not Deion athletically, but he can move. He's not a stature back there. And he has a pretty good arm. It's not the strongest, craziest arm, but I think he could have been a first rounder. And I think now that the first round is over, I think this would be great for the Browns. I think it should be the Browns because at the moment, I don't think they have anybody. That's why when I did my first mock draft, I'm like, yeah, I took Travis Hunter, but I was like earlier in the process, I was like, let's just take Shedeur. Maybe he's not this caliber of pick, but we need a quarterback. We don't have one. We can get a quarterback on a rookie deal, and that gives us space to improve the roster while we're dealing with this terrible, horrible Deshaun Watson contract. So I don't know, but I think they should trade. I don't know exactly when they pick. Let me see here. Wow, they got the first pick. I don't see how they don't pick Travis or Shedeur here. Please, guys, tell me why we would not pick Shedeur. We don't have a quarterback. Deshaun Watson, I used to love him. They used to be my favorite player. I'm not going to get into that too much, but it's just done with for now. There's no hope for Deshaun Watson right now. We don't even know if he's going to be healthy. And he wasn't good when he played. I don't know who the other quarterbacks on the roster are. Even if we do somehow get Kirk Cousins, he's 34. He's super old. He needs some type of, like, just draft him right here. This is the value. I've heard a lot of teams in the NFL didn't have him as a first rounder. I mean, well, then he's a second rounder. Like, I thought he was a first rounder. I think he's a first rounder. I think that stuff got blown out of proportion. Kenny Pickett went in the first round, did he not? So I think he's a better prospect than that. Anthony Richardson, yes, he has the traits and stuff, but he went fourth overall. And yes, he has the superstar traits that Shedeur doesn't, but Shedeur has that accuracy that Anthony Richardson doesn't. So, first pick on the clock, round 2, Cleveland. You gotta pick Shedeur here. You don't have a quarterback. You could get Shedeur in the second round after you traded back. Look, you gained capital. This is probably what they did it for. They knew that a lot of teams didn't view him that high or as a first rounder. So let's trade back from 2 to 5, get some extra capital, still get a good player, and now we can draft Shedeur in the second round instead of drafting him second overall. I would love that. I want to see that tonight. So, second pick. Well, we all knew I knew what the first like 5 picks were gonna be. First 6 picks. I picked like the first 7, right? But I didn't know they were gonna trade, which was smart for them. So Cleveland traded. Well, Titans A grade or B plus. Jags Cleveland trade. I give Jags like a B minus B. They gave up a first rounder next year, but regardless, they were aggressive and traded up and got their guy Travis Hunter. Good pick. None for me. I knew that was gonna be the second pick. I actually like the Titans and the Jags a little bit more now. When I picked the divisions, I had Texans winning that. I still got Texas winning that joint, but I give Jags or Titans a chance for second place, or even to upset and win the division. So I like the Jags with that. Another piece for Trevor Lawrence. Now you got Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. That's a pretty badass duo in the receiver core. And Travis Hunter can also help out your DB room in Jacksonville. So I like that. No one thought that they were going to trade, but we all knew Travis Hunter was going to go to. Third pick, Abdul Carter Giants. It made sense. At first, I was like, "Are you really gonna draft another edge rusher? Maybe you want to trade down so you can." And apparently, they liked Jackson Dart, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you just don't really draft pass on that. And I heard Baldy's breakdown. He was like, "Are you gonna pass up on Abdul Carter when the Cowboys got Micah Parsons and you guys have had, legendary pass rushers?" And it made sense. Like, they gotta, like, Brian Burns is damn good. Kayvon Thibodeau is really good. But this guy could be like a Micah Parsons-esque. He could be like one of those elite guys. So you don't really pass up on that. So I get that. I would try and trade one of the other two now, just because they're good players. You got Kayvon Thibodeau. They're both young and good. So I would try and trade one to either get picks next year or try and help out the team this year. But I like that pick. Number 4, Will Campbell. I knew that was gonna happen. Cause they snagged up Travis Hunter and Abdul. So this was the best pick at the spot. Not necessarily like the best player, but New England needs to strengthen that O line for Drake May. What he did last year for what he had, one of the worst weapon cores and O lines and just everything. He had no elite play caller, no elite weapon, and no elite O line. And he was making plays. He was looking like a guy. I like Drake May a lot. Drake May, aka just a Herbert Mini. He's a beast. He might already be a top 15 quarterback, but he's great. He's good. So whether Will Campbell's a tackle or a guard doesn't matter. Your O line needed help. If he can play tackle, play him at tackle. If you need him, kick him in the guard, do that. If he can play tackle this year and then maybe down the road there's a tackle who becomes available in the draft next year or something that you view higher, then just draft him and then you can move him in. He was viewed as a high prospect, and this necessarily isn't a reach, and it's just helping your young quarterback who you already added Matt Collins and Diggs. In the next 2 rounds, they'll probably add another receiver or running back. So, good pick from Patriots. I knew that was going to happen. 5th, I had Mason Graham going to the Jags, but obviously they traded, but they still picked him. Good pick. I mean, if you get Shedeur here with the first pick in the second round, you're going to be looking good. So, Mason Graham just adds depth to that D-line to pair up with Myles Garrett. And that's just a dominant young interior force for the Browns. I really like that. He just made your team a little bit better. You got a dog on the inside, filled up a little hole. Pair him with now you got another guy on the D line, a real like young guy with upside who can be something big to pair with Garrett. So the Browns could potentially save their disastrous third what they are if they just draft Shedeur here. I'm pretty sure you got multiple picks in the second round. So even if you don't pick him and other teams don't pick him, maybe you can still get him. But I would just draft him right now. Just get him. I don't think Shedeur is the best prospect ever, but I do think he's a first rounder, and I do think he could play, and I do think he would mesh good with Kevin Stefanski. 6, I knew this was going to happen to Ashton Jinty. It just made sense for Pete Carroll. Technically, I'm a guy who, I'm going to get more into this another time, but I lean a little bit towards the running backs don't matter. That's not exactly what they're saying. They're basically just saying, like, running backs matter, but you don't necessarily want to pay them huge contracts and you don't want to draft them early. But in this draft, where the draft wasn't that good, Like, who are you gonna really pass up? Like, who are you passing up on? Armand Membu, T Mac, like Tyler Warren. Yeah, he would been so, but he's a tight end. So same thing with the running back. And they have Brock Bowers and the other guy they got. But it just made sense for Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. They could use some help on the O line, but their O line's solid. They definitely need they need a lot, but a player of Genty's caliber who's that good, it just kind of made sense because he was kind of like the best player at that spot. You could have went Mambu, you could have went McMillan. You know that would have been fine too, but for Pete Carroll, what he wants to do is run his ball. He's getting his Marshawn Lynch-esque guy, help out Geno. You know, the O-line's not terrible, so he's going to have somewhere to run. So I like this pick too. Typically, I'm not the biggest running back guy in the first round, but in this draft is different because this is one of the best running back drafts ever, and it's a weaker draft overall. So he didn't really pass up on anybody. I do think he'll make your team better, and I like Ashton Genty to the Raiders. Armand Membu, I think I had that too. Yeah, when I did my mock draft, I did that too. Personally, I would have went Tyler Warren. I would have went Tyler Warren there, but in my mock draft, it was like what I would do and what I think they would do, and I just went Membu just to strengthen out that O line. Like you got your who you picked last year, and now you just got your other tackles. So now you got your tackles good. It's the Lions philosophy with whatchamacallit. I don't know why I'm blanking on everything right now. Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell. You know, we're gonna build through the trenches. They still kind of got a long way to go. They got some players, but they got a long way to go. So let's just get our bookend tackles right. Armand Membu, like the pick, no complaints. Arizona, Ted McMillan, Carolina. I like this pick too. When I was in my mock draft, I was thinking yeah, but I was kind of thinking like they just picked Leggett. But I guess it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, he's better than Leggett. I like T-Mac, but there's just a couple things. Like, last year, T-Mac probably would have been after Rome, probably. You got Marv, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, not in order, Rome, and there's a couple of the guys I'm missing, but he probably would have been after Rome. But you know, he's good, big, good after the catch, run routes really, really good for his size, but it's just like, there's some stuff with him, like, he could just be better, like, and, like, there's an effort mindset thing, but, I mean, he's good, like, I like the pick. Here, I wouldn't went Tyler Warren, probably, because I just viewed Tyler Warren as a little bit better prospect, so I think in my mock draft, I did, like, two of them, but in my last one, I was like, you know, he just fits in the best for me. Like, Jatavian Sanders, is he going to stop me from picking up Tyler Warren? But Ted McMillan makes sense, too, because Adam Thielen's getting old. You got him even though Leggett he was, like, a little inconsistent. He wasn't as bad as, like, a QJ, but now you got a real consistent guy who you can, so I get that. It makes sense. Tyler Warren would have been good too, but on the outside, for a receiving threat, you got a real guy you can rely on to get open and just be good and solid and catch the ball. So, Ted McMillan, I like Coker too. I like Jalen Coker. That's why I wasn't necessarily like, you know, but at the end of the day, it's Jalen Coker. So, but that receiving core is actually not bad. Ted McMillan, Leggett, Coker, Adam Thielen. I like Carolina a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to go on a playoff run, but I like them from what they were, being like the worst team. Saints, Kelvin Banks. I don't know how you don't draft Shedeur here. Obviously, the league didn't view him as a first-round guy, but who's your quarterback? I mean, if you guys aren't going to win anyway, I guess. Does adding Shedeur really make you a better team? I think it'd make you a better team. I think it'd make you more competitive. I think you'd win more games in that division if you had Shedeur, a rookie quarterback on a rookie scale contract who would help you build up your team in the meantime. Even if you don't necessarily want to go with Shedeur, like, you have a chance to get a quarterback on a rookie deal who could be pretty good. And if Derek Carr was fully healthy, then I could get this. But this thing where he may not be able to play, you're gonna roll out there with Spencer Rattler. If you want to roll out there with Spencer Rattler, you don't think you're gonna be good anyway, and you want to pick again, your plan is that we're not gonna be good anyway. We're gonna be picking in the top 3. We're gonna get an Arch Manning or something like that in a better quarterback class next year. But Kelvin Banks, the player himself, I don't have a problem with that. He's good. Add to the O line. adding to your O-line is never a bad thing, so I don't hate the move. But I don't hate it. People didn't view Shedeur that high, so I guess. This pick shocked me, number 10. Colston Loveland. Every Chargers mock draft or whatever, we had Colston Loveland drafting, which would have been perfect, and there was towards the draft, there was real hype on Colston Loveland, and I was just like, yeah, he is viewed as a high guy, but I didn't really know how much to take it, that people were actually viewing him that high. Yeah, I didn't know people viewed him this high, and specifically above Tyler Warren. I was shocked. I didn't think there was any chance that he was going to go before Tyler Warren. And I didn't think, in my mock draft, I had them taking Hampton. I didn't necessarily think, I get it, and it's not a bad move. It's an aggressive move. It is going to make them better. They are more scarier. But I just didn't think, I think they're trying to get a little sexy. I mean, they've added a lot of pieces to their whole team through the offseason. So it did give them freedom to do whatever. Thought it was going to be like a running back or something else. And if it was a tight end, Warren. But, I mean, obviously don't hate it. I like the pick. I mean, you had Cole Kmet. Is he not good? I thought Cole Kmet was good. But I guess Loveland and Warren are so good that Cole Kmet isn't stopping you from getting a tight end. So, I mean, I don't hate it. They did get better. When you pull up their roster, O-line improved, Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Colston Loveland, and Cole Kmet. That's pretty nasty. So, Bears still suck? I don't know. I don't think they suck anymore. I think that division is hell. I didn't love the Vikings first pick, but we'll get to that. But Colston Loveland, Bears, no complaints. I like that. Wish he would have been a Charger, but we'll get to that. This pick, Mykel Williams, Niners, was a little bit of a head scratcher to me. I heard about him. And he has upside, and I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know much to say about this pick, really. Hopefully, because I kind of like the Niners, so hopefully, in their best case, he turns out to be, I don't see him becoming an elite guy, but hopefully he just comes out to be a very solid, good edge rusher, I can't think of a comp right now, but the comp right here says Trevon Walker, and he's been all right, but he hasn't been some stud pass rusher, so I don't know. I don't really love this pick. Niners they're going kind of backwards. I'm pretty sure I just went to Vegas and cashed on their under from last year. We might need to double back and do that again. So, not loving the Niners right now. I don't love this pick. Hopefully they prove me wrong and he ends up being good to great, but I don't really know about that. Tyler Booker, Alabama, another head scratcher for me. Good player. It's not necessarily overly reach, and I don't hate it. Adding to your O-line is never bad, but I thought they were going to go running back or wide receiver. I had them picking Golden, but obviously Golden dropped. Ibuka was available when I did my mock draft, and in this case. So, I mean, I don't hate it. Like I said, adding to your O-line is never a bad thing. Protect Dak, but Dak also needs more playmakers outside of CeeDee Lamb. He's all they have. Ferguson's all right. I mean, that's really about it. The 2 running backs they signed are decent. So this pick, I don't really know. It's all right. Kenneth Grant, Dolphins. I like this pick. Your Christian Wilkins replacement type. Grant has some good upside. He's a good guy. I like this pick. Potential Charger candidate. Unfortunately, didn't happen. And I like this pick. Dolphins. They're the Dolphins. They're not a Super Bowl team, but this helped. This helped their defensive line out, and it's an improvement. So I'll give them that. Tyler Warren dropping to 14. To the Colts, made all the sense in the world. In my mock draft, I had them picking Colston Loveland. And I forgot to mention this, or I did mention this, but I had the Carolina drafting Warren. So, but he falls to 14. He's a beast, man. If all you got to do, I was watching his game live. All you got to do is search up his highlights versus USC, and he looks like the best player almost in college football. He's just doing everything. He's scoring touchdowns, breaking people's ankles, snagging, doing all types of stuff. Yeah, he's just blocking. He's a total package. He's elite. This pick for the Colts, I'm not too, they got a good offensive coach, and they got some good players, and adding Warren elevates that. I really like them now, but Anthony Richardson, man, is just, I don't know, man. I'm thinking after this year, they might have to move on. If he don't show his upside or if he doesn't put it all together, we've waited long enough. You've either been hurt or disappointing. They brought Daniel Jones in for a reason. I don't know. I like the pick. Don't know how I feel about the Colts. Jalen Walker, at first I was like, but to the Falcons, I don't hate this pick considering they traded back in and got James Pierce. But Jalen Walker, I heard some good things about him. Don't hate this pick. I think it makes the Falcons better. You just slot him in right there at the linebacker spot. He helps improve the defense that needed help last year. So, good player, like the pick. Walter Nolan, Arizona, like this pick too. Heard a lot of good things about Walter Nolan, that he might actually be the best interior defender in the class. I don't know if that was including Mason Graham, but really, really, really good player. Cardinals defensive coach. They need more guys on the defense too. Like, they have a solid offense already. Maybe add another piece later in the draft, but their defense needed help, and you just added a guy. So I really like this pick too. Like the pick, like the player, like the team. Walter Nolan, Cardinals, I like that. Shamar Stewart, Bengals, I like this too. Chris Sims had Shamar Stewart ranked either the second or third edge. Yeah, he didn't have the thing. Yeah, the thing that everyone's gonna say is that he only had 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons. But he is a physical freak. I don't necessarily hate the pick. I don't hate the pick. Bengals need help on defense. Their offense is fine. They can maybe use another offensive lineman, but you can maybe add an interior offensive lineman later in the draft. I don't hate it. I actually like it a little bit. Take a risk. Take a shot. He's not a bad player. He didn't have the production, but he does have the profile. So as long as you can coach him up, he could turn into a guy. Take a shot, take a risk, try and add a edge on your team. You might be losing Trey Hendrickson here, so I don't hate it. I like it. Shamar Stewart, Bengals, don't hate it. Gray Zabel, Seahawks, like the pick, like the player. Very versatile O-lineman, can play pretty much every spot. And the Seahawks needed O-lineman help. Their O-line has been pretty bad for a while now. They've had some moments in some guys, but just add another guy to your O-line who can strengthen it up, who can play different spots, because they need that. So this is a good pick. I like this pick. Like the player, like the team. Emeka Ibuka Bucks, a little bit of a head scratcher, but not necessarily because the player's good, but but I don't hate it, and I don't think it's like the worst thing. I don't think it's like crazy. Mike Evans isn't getting any younger. He's great, but he's getting old. Chris Godwin, you don't know. He's great, but he gets banged up. And their other like 2 guys, they're good, they're solid, they've had their moments, but Emeka Ibuka is a guy. So whenever Evans is done or whenever Chris Godwin gets hurt, you got Ibuka to slide right in. Candidate for one of the best wide receiver 3s already in the NFL. So that's pretty scary. I like it. Like the player, like the team, pretty good. Good pick. Jahdae Barron to the Broncos. I like this pick too. They're going to probably draft a running back or a receiver or something later in this draft, but they probably felt that the value was really good for Jahdae Barron. In my mock draft to the Chargers, I had Barron falling, Will Johnson, and Grant. No Loveland. And I ended up picking Will over Grant. And the Chargers picked someone over Will. But we'll get to that. But basically, Jahdae Barron, I like him as a player. Didn't run a slow 40 time. More of like a zone guy, but has the possibility to be able to do both. He's good. I like him. Like the pick, like the player, like the team. Jahdae Barron out of Texas to the Broncos. Good pick. Don't hate it. The Steelers pass up on Shedeur Sanders as they probably try and get him in the second or bring in Aaron Rodgers. Derek Harmon, like the player. Good player. Heard some good things about him. Don't hate this pick. Solid pick for the Steelers. Here we go. 22. LAC. Both up. Woo! Both up, baby. At the number 22 pick in the NFL draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Amari in Hampton, North Carolina. Whoa! I love this pick. Like I said, I'm not the biggest running back guy in the first round, but in this draft, in which this is the best running back draft ever, pretty much, and a lesser draft overall, who did we passed up on Will Johnson. So that's it. Passed up on Matthew Golden. I can live with that. I'm pretty sure Amari Hampton was viewed as a higher prospect. Usually that's not the case. Like last year with all them receivers, maybe it's different. But this year, you didn't really pass up on anybody. I think this is the right pick. Great value. People said that he wasn't that far off from Ginty and Gentry went 6th. So if we can get a guy like, I think this just, I think this is a great pick. Like the Chargers just need more dudes on offense. You seen what JK was doing last year. He had moments where he was looking like a guy. And this is JK coming off like 4 surgeries and injuries, who's always banged up. But when he was available, he was good. And we've strengthened the interior with Mekhi Becton. And adding Andre James is at least going to help a little bit competition. And this is year 2 with Harbaugh. And we add Najee Harris, who's like a way better version of Gus Edwards. I like the Najee Harris signing even more now. Like, this running back duo is nasty. Amari Hampton should be the running back 1. He should be the 3 down. He should get as much touches as possible whenever he needs a break or whenever you want to switch it up. Najee to come in as the RB2 to Amari Hampton's 1 is... The Chargers just need more guys. Yeah, they need another... They would like another better tight end, but Conklin is better than Will Dissly last year, so I can live with that. And the receiving group is still a little but at least we added Mike Williams. So now you got Lad McConkey, Mike Williams, QJ, we need... In the next 2 rounds, we should add another receiver. Hopefully we can get Kyle Williams. If we can get Kyle Williams in the 3rd, woo, look out. But I just love this. We just needed more guys. Hopefully, and he's viewed high. He's viewed like he could become a guy now. He has like an AP type of comp with better receiving skills. So not as good as AP as like necessarily a runner, but he can catch way and do that receiving stuff way better than AP. So Amari Hampton, I love this pick. It's sexy, but it's sexy in a good way that it could translate. And the Chargers needed more guys. This is a guy who can be an elite guy. So even though it's a running back and I'd rather have perimeter weapons, he was the best player that you could get at this spot. It's a Harbaugh team. He wants to run the ball. He wants to be smash mouth. He doesn't necessarily want to be sexy. He wants to be grind, gridiron, in your mouth, smash mouth, tough. Amari Hampton can be a beast. I love this pick a lot. I really do. And usually I'm not the running back guy in the 1st round, but in this draft, it makes all the sense in the world. Give us a guy who can be an elite. Amari Hampton, out of the people who had left, has the best chance to be an elite player than any of these guys. By far. Matthew Golden has a chance, but Amari Hampton's chance of being an elite guy is higher than Golden. So, and there's still other receivers. Hopefully we can get a Kyle Williams or a Higgins or some shit like that later in the draft. But this pick, I love it. Can't say enough about it. Love the pick. Love the player. Love the team. Amari Hampton, Chargers, A-. I'll just give it an A- just to not glaze too hard. But A- for the Chargers. Love this freaking pick. Both up. Chargers win the division this year. Let's go. Matthew Golden, Packers, like the pick, like the player. There was things that they should draft receiver and they never draft a receiver. And yes, they have a bunch of good receivers, but they don't have like a... If Christian Watson could stay healthy, Chris Sims would be like, he's that guy. He thinks he's like the best receiver ever. And I do think he could be a guy, but he's just not consistent and healthy enough. So, and is Matthew Golden going to be an elite wide receiver 1? Maybe, maybe not. But at least he has that. At least, I don't know. I like this pick, though. I like this pick. He just slots in good. Speed, dynamic. Did everything Texas asked him to do last year. He was good, so I like Matthew Golden. Your receiver room is now Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dubes, and Wicks. So maybe you get rid of one of those guys, but I like the pick. I didn't know what the Packers were going to do. They just felt like a mid, boring. They're so mid, but they're good. They have potential to be good. So I picked Jordan Love to win MVP last year. Thought the Packers could go on a run as a Vikings fan. But I like this pick. Matthew Golden. Like the pick. Good pick for Packers. Okay, now we're at the Vikings. 24, Donovan Jackson. I didn't love this pick. Not very sexy, but I can't hate it. Like I said, you could never go wrong adding an O-lineman to your team. This is part of the draft where the draft started to fall off a little bit. You still had Starks on the board. You still had Pierce on the board. But that was really about it. So I don't necessarily hate this pick. It's not sexy, but if he's good, now the Vikings are... Whoever they're trying to protect, hopefully it's JJ McCarthy, they've put in the freaking work. Darisaw, one of the best tackles in the league. Donovan Jackson, who's going to slide into this left guard spot. Ryan Kelly at center, Will Fries, and Brian O'Neill. That is nasty. We went from having a weakness in our O line and strengthening that stuff in off season. Like wow, like so. Although it's not the sexiest pick, it's not the best draft. There's not really. We didn't necessarily pass up on anybody too crazy. Starks is a better player, but at the end of the day, he's a safety. O line is more valuable. So I don't hate the pick. Don't hate the player. It's not sexy, but I don't know if it's enough to make me put Vikings first because I just don't know about JJ. But if I knew JJ was going to be good, I would put them first. I do think he'll be good. Still more draft to go, so I don't hate this pick. If I had to give it a grade, I'll give it like a B minus, B minus, C plus, B minus. Donovan Jackson, Minnesota, not the worst. Now, Giants. Apparently, they love Jackson Dart, and I didn't necessarily. I watched some games from him, and I thought like when I heard about him, and I would watch him, I'd be like, "Yo, why doesn't this guy get more?" He looks like kind of like a guy. Like, is he not a top 10 like pick candidate or something like that, or for sure first rounder? And he never got that buzz necessarily until after the draft. Then he started getting the buzz, and I thought him over Shedeur was insane, and he ain't went above Shedeur. But I think that's more of Dable liking this type of quarterback more. He likes Dart more than Shedeur because Dart is more mobile and active. I don't agree with that. I would have took Shedeur over Jackson Dart even if Dable likes Dart more. Well, if Dable really loved Dart more and he was like, okay, I want this, then I'm not going to be like, oh no. But me personally, I'd rather have Shedeur. I think he's the better prospect. But, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think what they did was smart in a way. You got your Abdul. You got your elite pass rusher. You still got two other guys who you can move for more capital or a player or whatever. And you went back into the first round and got your guy. I don't know who you were scared of to pick him, but Jackson Dart, don't hate him. 6'2", 223, can move, has a solid arm. So I like this pick. The Giants may be able to save their franchise. Maybe. Dable may be able to keep his job, maybe. So we'll see. I don't hate it. Pretty interesting. Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart. Don't hate it. Pretty nice. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they regret passing up on Shedeur. James Pierce from Tennessee to the Falcons, traded back up into the first round with the Rams. Love this pick. I like the Falcons. I might pick them to win the division. With this mixed with their other pick is pretty good. Their defenses needed help. The offense isn't perfect, but you got Bijan, you got a pretty solid line, you got Penix, you got Drake, you got Pitts, you got Mooney who was good. Add another piece later. James Pierce is a dog. I like him. He has the potential to be one of those guys. So I like this pick. Great like value on him. This was kind of his range. So good pick from the Falcons. I like their draft this year. Malachi Starks, Georgia to the Ravens. Great pick. Love the pick. He's just a beast, man. And, they just thought, let's just pick the best player available. He probably does fill a need. I can't think of their other safety. I know they got Hamilton. So you just put him back there. Regardless, this move improves the secondary because he's just that good. So Malachi Starks to the Ravens. I really like that pick. Good pick. Tyleik Williams to Lions. Don't know too much about this. Can't say too much about this. I would just say decent pick. Add to the D-line. I don't hate it. Don't love it. Tyleik Williams to the Detroit. Washington adds O-lineman Josh Connerly. I like this pick. Protect your guy, man. Protect Jaden. He did all that with like a average, mediocre team last year outside of Terry. Brian Robinson's good. A couple other good, decent pieces, but just can never hate on adding to the O-line. Give him that tackle. This guy could be good. If he ends up being good, this would be a great pick. So Josh Connerly, Commanders, like the pick. Give it a B. Maxwell Hairston to Bills. I heard some good things about him. Don't hate the pick. Don't love the pick. You passed up on Will Johnson. Are they more of a man team? Is that why? Maybe. So I don't hate it, don't love it. Maxwell Hairston to the Bills. Can improve their roster. I don't know if this is enough to finally help them beat the Chiefs, but it helps. B minus. Jahad Campbell to Eagles. Typical Eagles. They draft last in the first and they get a great player. Even though he's a linebacker, it's like at this point, that was like as good as you're gonna get. There's still great players. There's still good players available, but good pick for them. They're the Eagles. They improved. off of this too. I truly believe that. Give this a B as well. Josh Simmons to the Chiefs. Like this pick too. Chiefs need O-line help. Let's add a big tackle from Ohio State. Like this pick. Like the player. Team's obviously great. I like this pick. So decent first round. Good pick. Give that like a B. B plus. Second round, still some good players available. I want to see the Browns pick Shedeur right here at 33. Otherwise, I think it'll be crazy. Or if y'all want to pick him at 36, that wouldn't be bad either. Because the Texans aren't going to draft a quarterback, and the Titans aren't going to draft a quarterback. So actually, maybe you draft Will Johnson, Mike Green. Mike Green's a really, really good edge rusher. The reason he's fallen is not because it's football. So there's some good players here. Ezaraku, Iman Mike Green, Will Johnson, Trevion Henderson. There's some good players out here. So add one of them, and then when you go at 36, get Shedeur. Get Shedeur. And I'd love to see that. Real quick, let me see if I can pick 55. I would have loved to add Henderson, but we picked Hampton, so we're obviously not going to double back. Obviously, we're not going to get Will Johnson. But maybe if we trade up, we might be able to. Can we get a Will Johnson, Mike Green, Ezaraku, Iman Darius Alexander, Elijah Oreo, Mason Taylor? Can we get a Mason Taylor? Can the Chargers get a Mason Taylor? Can the Chargers get Will Johnson, Mike Green, Iman Ezaraku, Alexander, Arroyo, Anamos, fuck it, freak it, excuse my language, Jaden Higgins, Mason Taylor? Can we get one of those guys? Maybe Jared Wilson from Georgia, center. Trey Harris from Ole Miss. There's a lot of guys. Luther Burden still on the board. So there's a lot of guys here from my Chargers or even the Vikings. So I really like that. Quinshon Judkins, go get him, somebody. So there's a lot. I'm going to be watching this draft tonight. There's going to be a lot. There's a lot of good players still left. Can my Chargers get one of those guys? Hopefully they can. But that'll be all for now, folks. Tap into me. Follow me on all my media platforms. TikTok First and 23. X First and 23. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, First and 23 Sports Pod. Tap in. Comment any thoughts, questions, anything. Comment. Reach out to me. Shoot me a message. Like, subscribe, share. Love y'all, man. First and 23. Bolt up. Skull. NFL draft, let's get it. Football's coming back slowly. We got the NFL, NBA playoffs going on. Loving those. Loving those, man. Good NBA playoffs. I'm gonna watch that tonight. And appreciate you guys. First and 23 out.